Seniors 5 healthy vegetables that are secretly harming your body. Okay, please listen very carefully. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another health tip. This is a lifeline, especially for our cherished seniors. For decades, we've been told one thing: eat your vegetables. Like it's a sacred truth, an unquestionable commandment, a universal good. But what if I told you that some of these vegetables, yes, even the ones you've been told are heart healthy, might actually be harming you quietly, gradually, and without you ever realizing it? I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because you deserve to know the truth. So please stay with me until the very end, because the final insight I'll share is the one that ties everything together, the one that could change the way you view your meals, your health, and your future. Don't click away. Not now. This message is too important. This isn't fear-mongering. This is love. It's empowerment. It's about peeling back the layers of health myths that have been repeated so often they now go unquestioned. Because the truth is this: as our bodies age, they change. They accumulate wisdom, but they also develop sensitivities. And what was once neutral or even beneficial can become an irritant, an antagonist, especially to one of the most precious organs we have, the heart. The root of this wisdom isn't new, it's ancient. The insights I'm sharing today aren't based on trends or fads. They come from a deep well of ancient wisdom, the kind passed down from masters who understood the subtle energies of the human body. Think of teachings from Shi Heng Yi or generations of healers from East and West alike who believe that what we consume doesn't just affect our weight or digestion. It influences our energy, our clarity, our mobility, and especially our circulatory health. They understood that not everything grown from the earth is equally good for every person at every stage of life. Just because it sprouts from the soil doesn't mean it belongs on your plate, especially not after 60. Why this matters for seniors more than ever before. You've given decades of your life to your family, your work, your community. Now is the time when your body should be repaid with vitality, steadiness, and ease. But if you're eating the wrong foods, even ones the world says are healthy, your heart may be carrying a silent burden. We're going to talk about 5 specific vegetables or vegetable families that seniors should seriously reconsider. In some cases, you may even need to eliminate them. And I know, I can already hear it. But I thought this was good for me. I've eaten that my whole life. Everyone says to eat more vegetables. I hear you. I understand the resistance, but I ask you with every ounce of sincerity to keep an open mind, because what you're about to hear might be the missing piece, the one that finally explains why your energy isn't coming back, why your blood pressure is fluctuating, why your legs feel heavier than they used to, why, despite doing everything right, you're still not feeling right. The oversimplified advice that misleads millions. Modern nutrition often speaks in oversimplified slogans: eat the rainbow. More plants, always better. If it's natural, it's healthy. But your body isn't a bumper sticker. It's not a one-size-fits-all machine. It's a living ecosystem, a delicate balance of hormones, enzymes, blood vessels, nerve signals, and metabolic rhythms. And after 60, that balance becomes more sensitive, not less. Your digestive fire isn't as strong. Your blood vessels have aged, your metabolic flexibility has changed, and your inflammatory thresholds are lower. What that means is simple. Some foods you once handled easily may now be doing silent damage. The Trojan horse effect. How healthy vegetables may hurt your heart. Certain plant compounds, while helpful for the young and metabolically robust, can act like Trojan horses for seniors. They sneak in disguised as nutrition, but over time they can contribute to chronic inflammation, arterial stiffness, digestive discomfort, blood pressure instability, and microvascular stress, which affects your legs, brain, and heart most. And no, this isn't about demonizing vegetables. It's about recognizing that context matters. Individual biology matters. The stage of life you're in matters. You deserve a body that moves and feels strong, not one that struggles. If you've been feeling fatigued after meals, getting lightheaded on stairs, noticing a fogginess you can't shake, experiencing unexplained leg cramps or swelling, then this message is for you. Because what's sneaking into your system under the label of healthy could be the very thing that's keeping you stuck. These 5 vegetables may be praised by health blogs, nutritionists, even doctors. But if they don't serve your unique body right now, they need to be questioned. Stay with me, The final insight may change your entire approach to food. At the end of this video, I'll share one final insight, one piece of wisdom that brings all the parts together, a way to reframe how you think about food, not just as fuel, but as a partner in healing. Something that supports your freedom to walk, to think clearly, to age with strength and purpose. This isn't about restriction. It's about precision. It's not about fear. It's about finally giving your body what it's been asking for without the noise. Let's begin. Because your heart, your legs, your energy, they deserve better than guesswork. They deserve clarity. They deserve nourishment. They deserve truth. If you're ready to reclaim your energy and protect your heart, stay with me. Let's dive into the 5 vegetables that could be sabotaging your strength and what to eat instead. You've never heard it explained quite like this, but once you do, you'll never look at your plate the same way again. In the previous section, we opened a door to deeper wisdom, questioning long-standing assumptions about vegetables we've always considered healthy. Now it's time to step through that door, because the first item on our list may surprise you. In fact, it may be sitting in your fridge or simmering on your stove right now. The first culprit: nightshades. Beautiful, delicious, and deceptive. Let's talk about the nightshade family. This group includes some of the most colorful, flavorful, and commonly enjoyed vegetables in the modern kitchen: tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplants, and yes, even white potatoes, which we'll dive into more specifically in a moment. For many people, these are staples. Think of a slow-simmered tomato sauce over pasta, a vibrant stir-fry with red, yellow, and green bell peppers, a comforting tray of baked eggplant drizzled with olive oil, or crispy roasted potatoes on a Sunday morning. They're part of cherished meals, family recipes, even comfort food. But here's what most people don't know. For a significant portion of the population, especially those over 60, nightshades may be contributing to chronic inflammation and subtle circulatory strain. Why nightshades might be hurting you? The reason lies in the natural compounds that nightshades contain, most notably alkaloids such as solanine and lectins. These compounds are part of the plant's natural defense system. They evolved to repel insects and fungi. But in sensitive human systems, particularly aging bodies that may already have weakened digestion, pre-existing inflammation, or autoimmune conditions, these compounds can act as irritants. They can trigger joint pain, digestive upset, low-grade inflammation, and in some cases worsen cardiovascular stress. Imagine a body already dealing with arthritis, stiffness, or unexplained aches, and then unknowingly adding more fuel to the fire, one healthy meal at a time. Inflammation isn't just about pain, it's about the heart. Let's go deeper. Chronic inflammation doesn't just show up as joint discomfort. It's a systemic condition that silently impacts nearly every part of your body. One of the most critical areas it affects the lining of your arteries. This inner lining, known as the endothelium, is delicate, almost like the velvet inside a jewelry box. But when inflammation becomes persistent, it's like rubbing sandpaper across that velvet, day after day. Over time, this damage contributes to arterial stiffness, plaque buildup, poor oxygen delivery, and increased risk for heart disease. So what seems like minor discomfort in your knees or hips may be linked to a greater burden on your cardiovascular system. The solution isn't fear, it's awareness. This isn't about vilifying tomatoes or banning eggplants forever. It's about becoming an astute observer of your own body. If you experience unexplained joint stiffness, morning aches, bloating after meals, or are already concerned about heart health, then a trial elimination of nightshades might be the most revealing step you can take. Give it 2 to 4 weeks. Track your energy, your mobility, your digestion. You might be shocked at what clears up simply by stepping back from foods you've always trusted. Many who've made this change describe it as a revelation, a missing puzzle piece they didn't know they were searching for. Now, let's turn to another group, one even more revered. Let's shift gears because now we're entering controversial territory. We're talking about dark leafy greens often hailed as superfoods, specifically the ones high in oxalic acid oxalates, including spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens, and, yes, even rhubarb. Now, before you raise your eyebrows, hear me out. Greens are good, but context matters. It's true these vegetables contain valuable nutrients: vitamin K, magnesium, iron, folate, antioxidants, but not all nutrients are absorbed equally by all bodies at all times. And for some seniors, especially those with a history of kidney stones, digestive imbalances, genetic predispositions related to oxalate processing, or chronic joint or muscle pain, consuming too many high oxalate greens can be problematic. What are oxalates and why should you care? Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds found in many plants. Their job is to help the plant store calcium and deter pests. But in humans, oxalates can bind with calcium in the digestive tract. When this binding happens in the urinary system, it can form calcium oxalate crystals, the most common type of kidney stones. Kidney stones are not just painful, they're debilitating, and they can affect your hydration status, your cardiovascular system, and your overall sense of vitality. But that's not the only concern. The leaky gut connection and systemic inflammation. If you have a compromised gut lining, often referred to as leaky gut oxalates, may pass into the bloodstream instead of being eliminated properly. There they can trigger inflammation in tissues and joints, contribute to unexplained pain, disrupt mineral balance, and add hidden stress to the cardiovascular system. Magnesium, for example, a mineral essential for heart rhythm and muscle relaxation, can be bound up and excreted when oxalates are too high. What ancient wisdom knew that modern diets ignore? Traditional cultures knew better. They would boil high oxalate greens, discard the cooking water, or pair them with dairy or fat to minimize the absorption of harmful compounds. But in today's world of raw spinach smoothies, mega salads, and trendy green bowls, we've lost that balance. And the result? A potential oxalate overload, one that aging bodies may struggle to manage. In the next section, we'll continue this journey, exploring one of the most unexpected vegetables that might be undermining your heart health, even though it's likely served in nearly every American kitchen. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the clearer the picture becomes. Health isn't about blind trust. It's about listening, not just to advice, but to your own body. In the last section, we explored how even revered leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard can become problematic for aging bodies when consumed in excess, especially due to high oxalate content. But remember, it's not that these foods are inherently harmful. The real issue lies in how much you eat and how well your body can process them. And that rule holds true as we move to the next surprising villain on our list: corn. Corn, sweet golden and metabolically risky. Now I know this might be a tough one. Corn is one of those foods that feels harmless, nostalgic even. Think back, fresh corn on the cob at a summer barbecue, a bowl of creamed corn at Thanksgiving, a spoonful of corn added to soup or salad for color and crunch. It's comforting, it's traditional, and for many it feels like a healthy choice. But for seniors, especially those managing blood sugar issues, pre-diabetes, or heart concerns, corn particularly, modern sweet corn may not be as gentle as it seems. The glycemic impact. Why sweet corn spikes blood sugar. Sweet corn, despite being marketed as a vegetable, acts more like a starchy grain in the body. Why? Because it causes a significant spike in blood sugar, sometimes as much as a slice of white bread. For individuals with insulin resistance, this repeated spiking and crashing of blood sugar can exhaust your pancreas, worsen insulin sensitivity, create an internal environment that fuels inflammation, and, over time, strain your cardiovascular system. Think of your blood vessels as flexible pipes. Now imagine syrup instead of water flowing through them day after day. That's what consistently elevated blood sugar does. It makes those pipes stickier, less flexible, and more vulnerable to plaque buildup. Corn isn't really a vegetable. Here's the twist: corn isn't technically a vegetable at all. Botanically, it's a grain, and like other grains and legumes, it contains lectins, plant compounds that for some people may irritate the gut lining. In seniors with existing gut sensitivities or leaky gut symptoms, this irritation can lead to poor nutrient absorption, greater immune reactivity, and again, systemic inflammation that doesn't just affect your belly, it affects your heart joints and brain. So while a rare seasonal ear of organic corn grilled and enjoyed slowly may not be a problem for everyone, it's the daily dose of processed corn in Western diets that's the real concern. The hidden corn in your everyday food. Even if you're not eating corn on the cob, chances are you're eating corn in some form almost every day. It hides in corn syrup, corn oil, cornmeal, and cornstarch, snack foods, sauces, dressings, even health bars. That adds up quickly. And for seniors trying to maintain a steady, calm internal environment for their heart, corn, especially sweet and processed forms, becomes a silent stressor. It's the sweet deceiver posing as harmless comfort food while contributing to real measurable cardiovascular strain. The next on the list, the white potato, familiar, filling, and inflammatory. And while we're talking about comfort foods, we can't skip the classic white potatoes. Whether they're baked, mashed, fried, or roasted, potatoes are everywhere. They're filling, they're affordable, and they've been a dinner plate staple for generations. But here's the hard truth. White potatoes, like corn, have a high glycemic index, especially when prepared without their skin, as in mashed potatoes, French fries, baked potatoes with sour cream and butter. These preparations strip away what little fiber potatoes offer, leaving you with a fast-digesting starch that causes a rapid rise in blood sugar. For seniors already managing insulin sensitivity or metabolic issues, this becomes a problem fast. How white potatoes affect your heart and blood vessels. Just like corn, these blood sugar surges fuel inflammation, put strain on your pancreas, lead to insulin resistance, and slowly contribute to cardiovascular disease. Over time, this can reduce circulation, lower muscle endurance, and increase the risk of leg swelling, brain fog, energy crashes, and even falls from poor post-meal balance. And don't forget, potatoes are nightshades too. Most people don't realize this, but white potatoes are part of the nightshade family, alongside tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers. That means they contain alkaloids like solanine. For individuals who are sensitive, these compounds can contribute to joint pain, digestive upset, low-grade inflammation that flies under the radar but affects how your body feels every single day. For seniors with arthritis, muscle tension, or heart conditions, this is not a small issue. The takeaway: it's about awareness, not fear. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy corn or potatoes again, but it does mean you need to eat them with intention. Ask yourself, how often am I eating corn-based products or white potatoes? How do I feel after those meals? Are there better alternatives that support my blood sugar circulation and inflammation levels? Because the goal isn't deprivation, it's clarity. And when it comes to heart health, less strain equals more strength. In the next section, we'll look at a root vegetable that seems earthy and grounding, but may actually disturb your internal balance when consumed in excess. Stay with me, because the more you understand how your food choices shape your energy mobility and blood flow, the more power you'll reclaim one plate at a time. In the last segment, we uncovered how white potatoes, particularly when consumed in processed forms, can quietly sabotage heart health, spike blood sugar, and fuel inflammation. But what many people don't realize is that the way we cook these potatoes makes a significant difference. Especially when they're fried, browned, or roasted at high heat, the risks increase dramatically. The hidden danger in that golden crust. Let's talk about a compound few people know by name, but many consume daily without a second thought: acrylamide. Acrylamide forms when starchy foods like potatoes are cooked at high temperatures. Think frying, baking, or roasting until golden brown. It's not just about extra calories or fats. Acrylamide has been classified by the World Health Organization and other scientific bodies as a probable human carcinogen. More importantly, for seniors, it's been linked to oxidative stress, systemic inflammation, damage to vascular cells. What is oxidative stress? Think of it like internal rusting. Free radicals begin to break down the structural integrity of your tissues, including the delicate lining of your blood vessels. This leads to stiffness, poor nutrient delivery, and over time, a weakened cardiovascular system. So while that pile of French fries or crisped potato skins might feel like comfort food in the moment, it's often just a fleeting illusion followed by a long-term burden on your heart. The ancient perspective: comfort comes from balance, not indulgence. The ancient masters of health, like the ones Shi Heng Yi draws wisdom from, knew something we often forget. True comfort doesn't come from flavor alone, it comes from harmony in the body. They prioritized sustained vitality over short-term pleasure. They believed in feeding the system, not stimulating it. And for seniors whose systems may already be working harder to maintain balance, every bite becomes a message. Are you calming your body or inflaming it? Smarter root choices for stronger hearts. If you're craving grounding, hearty vegetables that won't send your blood sugar soaring, try these instead. Sweet potatoes baked, not fried, lower glycemic index, higher in fiber and beta-carotene. Carrots rich in antioxidants and gentle on blood sugar. Parsnips slightly sweet but nutrient-dense when roasted properly. And for those who suspect sensitivity to nightshades, be cautious even with sweet potatoes or root vegetables. Every body is different, and mindful moderation is key. The final vegetable, or rather legume, that demands caution: soy. Let's move to our final food, one often consumed like a vegetable but technically a legume: soy. Now this one will be controversial. Why? Because soy is marketed as a health food. You've likely heard it's heart healthy. It's the ideal plant-based protein. It helps regulate hormones. And in certain traditional fermented forms, this may hold some truth. Soy products like natto miso and tempeh, consumed sparingly in balanced Asian diets, can offer benefits when part of a diverse, minimally processed lifestyle. But that's not the kind of soy most Westerners are eating. The reality of modern, unfermented soy. In the average American diet, soy shows up as soy milk, soy protein isolate in protein powders bars and health snacks, soy burgers, tofu often unfermented and eaten in large quantities. These highly processed forms of soy pose multiple problems for seniors, especially for those focused on heart health and hormonal balance. Let's break it down. Problem number 1, phytic acid, the anti-nutrient blocking your minerals. Unfermented soy is rich in phytic acid, a natural compound known as an anti-nutrient. Why does this matter? Phytic acid binds to essential minerals like calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc. These minerals are critical for heart function, bone density, nerve health, muscle contraction. In other words, the very systems that keep you strong, balanced, and stable can be undermined when phytic acid blocks the absorption of key nutrients. Problem number 2, goitrogens, a threat to your thyroid. Soy also contains compounds called goitrogens. These interfere with thyroid function, especially in people with existing imbalances or low iodine levels. Your thyroid is the master regulator of your metabolism. It directly influences heart rate, cholesterol processing, energy production. An underactive thyroid can lead to fatigue, weight gain, slowed metabolism, higher cholesterol, and yes, increased cardiovascular risk. Problem number 3, phytoestrogens, hormonal disruptors in disguise. Phytoestrogens are plant-based compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. At first glance, this might sound helpful, especially for postmenopausal women, but too much estrogen-mimicking activity, especially from highly processed soy, can disrupt hormonal balance in both men and women. That disruption can lead to mood swings, fatigue, weight gain, breast tenderness, and potentially cardiovascular dysfunction linked to hormonal imbalance. The Shiheng Yi perspective, and that of many traditional systems, would be to avoid chronic dietary stimulation, especially when it threatens the body's natural hormonal rhythm. Modern soy, a health halo that hides metabolic risk. Let's be clear, this isn't about demonizing soy entirely. It's about context, quality, and quantity. When soy becomes a staple in the form of processed patties, smoothies, powders, and bars, especially in unfermented forms, you're no longer eating whole food. You're consuming an industrial byproduct dressed up as a health solution, and your heart feels it. The accumulation of phytic acid, goitrogens, phytoestrogens, can slowly quietly erode your vitality. Recap the 5 foods you may need to reconsider. So far, we've walked through 5 food groups that deserve a second look: nightshades, inflammatory potential, high oxalate leafy greens, mineral binding and kidney strain, sweet corn, blood sugar spikes and gut stress, white potatoes, glycemic load and inflammatory cooking methods, unfermented soy, mineral depletion, hormonal disruption, and metabolic confusion. In the next section, we'll tie everything together so you can make confident, informed decisions about the foods that go on your plate. Because after 60, every bite matters more than ever. Let's keep going. Your heart deserves it. In the previous section, we looked at the foods that may quietly burden your cardiovascular system through inflammation, blood sugar spikes, mineral depletion, and hormonal confusion. Now, let's take a step back and focus on what all of this truly means for your heart, the organ that has never stopped working for you. The weight your heart has carried for decades. Take a moment. Imagine your heart. Right now, as you read this, it's beating silently, faithfully, tirelessly. Roughly 100,000 beats per day, every single day of your life. No breaks, no complaints, just service. Now ask yourself what happens over time when that same heart has to pump through stiff, inflamed arteries, when it's navigating constant waves of erratic blood sugar, when it's starved of minerals like magnesium and potassium or confused by unstable hormonal signals. Each of these burdens on their own might seem minor, easy to dismiss, but combined over months, years, decades, they become a symphony of strain. A background hum of dysfunction that leads inevitably to fatigue, stiffness, arrhythmias, and decline. This isn't about guilt, it's about clarity. Let's be clear, this isn't about blame, this isn't about guilt, this is about awareness. This is about seeing the full picture, because when your body begins to send signals, fatigue, swelling, shortness of breath, poor recovery, those are not signs of failure. They are pleas for partnership. They're your body asking, can we do this differently? And yes, you can. The heart's greatest ally is balance, not perfection. You don't need perfection, you need balance, and balance starts by removing the silent saboteurs, the hidden irritants. It starts by saying, just because it grows from the earth doesn't mean it's good for me at this stage of life. You see, the human body is not static, it's always evolving, especially after 60. Your metabolism shifts, your inflammation threshold drops. Your ability to absorb and utilize nutrients becomes more delicate. What worked at 30 may now be a subtle antagonist at 70. Ancient wisdom always knew this truth. This idea that some foods are good for some people but not for everyone isn't new. It's ancient. Healers like Shi Hung Yi and traditional medicine systems across cultures always understood this. They may not have had blood panels or clinical trials, but they had observation. They watched how food affected people across seasons, ages, constitutions, and life events. And from those generations of wisdom came a truth that modern nutrition often forgets. One person's superfood can be another's slow poison. Food is more than fuel, it's energy, temperature, rhythm. Traditional systems of medicine saw food through a lens we've largely forgotten. Some foods are heating, others are cooling. Some foods are drying, others are dampening. Some restore, others deplete depending on the person, the portion, and the preparation. This is food energetics, the understanding that a meal is more than macros and calories. It's about how your body dances with nature, the loss of culinary wisdom in modern life. But we've lost much of that. In our pursuit of convenience, quick meals, and one-size-fits-all health advice we've abandoned. Soaking beans, sprouting grains, cooking greens to neutralize oxalates, fermenting soy to reduce hormone disruption. These weren't quirky traditions. They were functional strategies developed through centuries of close attention. Strategies meant to make food easier to digest, gentler on the body, and more supportive of vitality. And now we toss handfuls of raw spinach into smoothies. We microwave tofu. We eat 3 servings of sweet corn a day without pausing to ask if our body can still handle it. But the clues are still there if you listen. You don't have to go back in time. You just have to listen to your own body and to the traditions that stood the test of time. Because even today, the world's longest living populations, the ones with low rates of heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline, still cook with care, still season by feel, still listen to their digestion and mood after a meal. They don't follow trends, they follow wisdom. Reclaim your agency and give your heart a break. So here's the truth, if your heart feels tired, it probably is. If your circulation feels sluggish, it probably is. If your energy crashes after meals, your body is likely overwhelmed. And if you've been eating all the right foods, spinach, potatoes, tofu, corn, and still not feeling your best, maybe it's time to look deeper. This isn't defeat. It's not restriction. It's empowerment. It's saying, I'm not going to follow a label. I'm going to follow my body. The modern approach fails when it forgets the individual. Modern nutrition likes to count calories, carbs, grams of fiber. But what it often forgets is the person behind the plate. And what traditional wisdom whispers is this: the way food makes you feel is more important than what the label says. The way your joints respond, the way your mind clears or clouds, the way your legs carry you or don't. The final invitation. So if your heart feels heavy, if your legs feel tired, if your mind feels foggy after eating, this isn't just getting older. This might be your body saying, please, less struggle, more support. And that support, it begins with what you put on your plate. In the previous section, we explored how 5 common food groups once assumed healthy may quietly undermine heart health, especially in the golden years. Now, as we arrive at the final stretch of this journey, it's time to pull everything together into a message not of fear, but of gentle discernment, awareness, and empowered choice. This isn't about limitation, it's about alignment. This conversation has never been about restriction for its own sake. It's about clarity, about choosing foods that genuinely harmonize with your unique, beautiful body, particularly in this vital stage of life. Because if certain foods, even those stamped with a heart-healthy label, are no longer serving you, the question becomes, what does true nourishment look like? And how do we choose it with confidence and compassion? The answer isn't a complicated diet with a trendy name. It's not about following strict meal plans or counting macros. It's about returning to the foundations, the basics our ancestors lived by. Eat whole, unprocessed foods. Choose what grows close to the earth. Cook gently. Listen deeply. The path to a heart-strong plate. Start here. Choose vibrant, colorful vegetables that are low in inflammatory compounds. Broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, carrots, beets in moderation, cucumbers, celery. These are generally well tolerated. Avoid overloading on high oxalate or nightshade vegetables if you suspect sensitivity. Focus on gentle cooking methods, steam lightly, saute, or bake at moderate temperatures. This not only enhances digestibility, but preserves nutrients and prevents the formation of harmful byproducts. Include healthy fats to nourish your heart and mind. Avocados, cold-pressed olive oil, raw nuts and seeds if tolerated, and fatty fish rich in omega-3s. And don't forget high-quality proteins from diverse sources. Protein is critical for muscle strength, organ repair, and overall resilience. The most powerful tool listening to your body. And then there's the most important piece, the one that sages like Shi Heng Yi have echoed for centuries. Your body is always speaking. Are you listening? That lingering fatigue, that tightness in your joints after a healthy meal, that bloating, that brain fog. These aren't random, they're messages. Try keeping a food journal. Notice how you feel after different meals. Does your mind feel clearer or foggier? Are you more energized or more tired? Do your joints feel looser or tighter? That kind of intuitive eating, deep internal listening is far more powerful than any one-size-fits-all food list. Nourishment is personal, not prescriptive. True nourishment is a personal journey. It's not about good versus bad. It's about what makes you feel alive from the inside out. It's about choosing foods that support your mobility, your mood, your heart rate, your clarity, and your sense of self. It's about supporting your heart not as a medical checklist, but as an act of self-respect. Yes, some of this is hard to hear, and that's okay. Some of the vegetables we talked about today, nightshades, high oxalate greens, corn white potatoes, and unfermented soy, may have been staples in your kitchen for years. They may be tied to memories. They may bring comfort. They may feel safe. And that's what makes this journey challenging. But here's the truth. Discomfort is often the first step to transformation. Don't let the fear of questioning old beliefs keep you from discovering a new level of vitality. This moment could be your turning point. Right now, this moment could be the one where something shifts. The moment you stop accepting discomfort as normal. The moment you stop outsourcing your health to generic advice. The moment you say, I'm ready to become the lead investigator in my own well-being. That's not just courage, that's wisdom. The final, most powerful insight. Your body holds innate intelligence. It has the capacity to heal, to restore balance, to generate energy even now, even after all these years. But only when you listen. Only when you trust it enough to question what you're feeding it. Only when you dare to remove what doesn't serve you, even if it was once labeled healthy. This isn't about bad foods. It's about a new way of being with food. A conscious, compassionate relationship with your body. One where food isn't fuel alone, but a partner in your freedom. The invitation. So take this not as a set of rules, but as an invitation. A quiet, powerful invitation to explore, to experiment, to discover what truly nourishes you. What makes your heart feel light, strong, steady, and joyful? Your golden years were never meant to be dull, inflamed, or restrained. They were meant to be vibrant, expansive, and alive. Ready to take back control of your vitality. If this message resonated with you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to Life After 60 today for practical science-backed strategies to protect your heart, strengthen your body, and reclaim your energy without falling for empty fads. And in the comments, tell us which food surprised you the most And what small change will you try this week? Your body already knows how to heal. Your job is to listen, trust, and act. The power has always been within you. Now, let your heart feel the difference.